Hey guys, welcome to the Hoan Zone, where we help you multiply the assets you own. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about public speaking, because public speaking has absolutely transformed my investing business. It first started when I was in high school and I took a public speaking class as an elective. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I loved how they structured my speeches, and I loved the confidence that I gained from standing in front of an audience. Then I go to college. I'm an engineering major. I go to college. One of my teachers tells us out of nowhere, and I don't know why, he goes, "Class, if you don't know how to convey your ideas to other people, your ideas will die in your head." And that really stuck out to me. I'm not sure if any of the other students heard that the way I did, but that really stuck out to me to this day. And I knew the importance, or I learned the importance of being able to convey your ideas so that people know what it is that you're trying to do. And if they know what you're trying to do, then it gets done. The joke is, how do you know an engineer is extroverted? When you're talking with an engineer, they're looking at your shoes. Engineers are known to be introverted. So if you're introverted, it's okay. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys how to become a better speaker. Now, as I said, becoming a better speaker has made me a better investor. And why is that? Because I would go out there and I would teach people how to become an investor. I would teach people how to find properties, fund them, fix them up, and then finish them, whether you're flipping them or renting them out. And I would be really good at explaining these things. Because I kept explaining this to all of the people who wanted to learn, including you guys, like in this video, because I got really good at that, other people wanted to work with me. And then sooner or later, I started getting deals because people would see that I'm constantly talking about real estate, and they would say, "Hoan, my mom or my dad is selling a property. Would you be interested in buying it?" And the answer is, of course I'd be interested in buying it. I would buy these properties, and then I would talk about the deals, and then other people would bring me more deals, and then other people would want to learn from me. And there was just this loop where I just kept getting more deals because I kept talking about them. Public speaking, an incredible skill for you to have. And if you're interested in becoming a better investor, learn how to convey to the world that you are an investor. I like to say this to a lot of my students: don't be an undercover real estate investor. Let people know what you're doing so that they can help you get further along. So tip number one that I have for you guys is just to tell your story. Talk about what it is that you know. You don't have to create a formal speech every time you speak. If you're telling your story, you're going to know it. And you're going to know it in such a way that even if you deviate a little bit, other people aren't going to know. So you don't have to worry about being perfect. You already know your story. You already lived your story. Just tell it the way it comes to you and let it come naturally. People like that when you're being a public speaker anyway. They want it to be more conversational versus structured speech. You can tell when someone has a structured speech because of how it flows. It's not a good flow. But if somebody's just speaking to you, it's still public speaking, right? But it's just not like standing in front of a podium in front of a giant audience. It's not that. Know your story, tell your story because you know your story. It's your story. In addition to telling your story, if say you're speaking on something like how to invest in real estate, and it's beyond just your story, but you're getting into the technical things, the technical aspects of it, where it's not your story and you're kind of nervous, here's a trick: speak slower. Now, I emphasize a long pause because I want you guys to see that it's okay to stop. It's okay to pause. Watch, I'm going to do it again. Most people, this is what they do. They'll say, if you're trying to find a property, you're going to have to send out some mailers. And when the mailers come back, you're going to have to field the calls. And sometimes when the seller calls you, they're not ready to sell. Okay, there's a lot of filler words. This is an example of how going slower would help you. All right, guys, if you're interested in getting more deals, step number one, become known in the world as a real estate investor. Step number two is let people know how they can work with you. I just made that up, but I went slower, and I went slow enough where I could make it up. You don't have to fill up every second with sound. If you're just speaking, If you're speaking fast, you're going to fill up the space with sounds because you're nervous. Go slower. It's okay to go slower. People will be able to hang on to your words if you go slower. Now, it's a different kind of feeling in terms of the speech quality. It's a different kind of feeling because it's not super energetic. But if you're giving a really technical speech, maybe you do need to go a little slower so people can follow along. Go slower, take pauses, don't use filler words, because then it'll sound more professional. One of the most important things to do when you're public speaking is to have structure, to be focused. What you're gonna want is you're gonna want a hook, a story, and then an offer or call to action. Those three things. The first thing, the hook. You're going to want to capture the people's attention. You're going to want to say something that causes people to listen. Once you hook them, you're going to want to say a story. Create a story that intrigues people, that allows people to go along this journey with you in the story as you're talking. And then the last one is to give them an offer or call to action. You don't want to just wrap it up and go, okay, guys, I'm done. You want to wrap it up with, if you guys have any additional questions, please let me know. Here's my email address. Something like that. An offer, a call to action, something to do now that you're done. Hook, story, offer. Super simple, but having it structured that way keeps people engaged, and it keeps you from rambling left and right and forward and back and not having a point to the story at all. Great public speakers have mastered that. My final tip for the video is to just go out there and speak. Public speaking is all about practice. You got to go out there and you got to take up every opportunity to speak in front of other people. Now, public speaking doesn't have to be in front of a giant audience. Public speaking, believe it or not, could be in front of your friends. It could be one-on-one. Anytime you have an opportunity to talk, that is public speaking. If you're talking to somebody one-on-one, think hook, story, offer. Think talk slower. Think I'm going to tell my story. Think be smooth. Those are the kind of things that you want to apply one-on-one so that when you're talking to 1 to 1,000, you're confident because you've done it a million times. Every time you go out there and you speak, you get the opportunity to practice. You want to get in as much practice as possible, but be mindful while you're speaking how you're sounding. Listen to yourself as you're talking. Make every time you speak practice for the big stage. And then when you get to that big stage one day, you will be amazing. All right, guys, we are at the end of the video. Here is my call to action. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, share it with somebody. Public speaking is one of those things that people are deathly afraid of. They say that Americans, that's the number one fear. Public speaking. The number 2 is dying, and I guess number 3 is dying while public speaking. Keep on saying yes to every opportunity and have a great time. I will catch you in the next episode of the Hoan Zone.